We're here in Vancouver at the VRIC 2019, and joining me now is Mitchell Smith of Cobalt Industries. Mitchell, welcome.
Thank you very much, Stu.
Tell us about your company, but let's start with where you're listed and what's your symbol.
Definitely. So, company is Global Energy Metals. We're listed on the TSXV. Ticker symbol is GEMC.
GEMC.
Yes.
But you are specializing in cobalt. When I say you're
Yes.
Cobalt Corporation, I mean really that is your focus.
We're
is it not?
100% cobalt focused. We have been since starting this company, and really we've been involved as a management team in the cobalt space for over a decade. So this is nothing new to us, and we believe the sector is building as we speak.
So when we go back 10 years ago, the cobalt market was really only just starting to emerge. Where's it at now?
Yeah, and you know it's evolved so much in the last decade. Really before it was a specialty metal that was used in industrial application and strengthening of steel. Since then, it's really changed into the battery space and into the chemical. Critical into the chemical formulations that are used in the electric vehicle space, portable electronics, all of that. So
well, and it becomes fundamentally important. Has China not just announced that they're planning on building 1 million electric cars a year?
Yes.
And so the demand is going to be there.
It's huge. The demand is really what we talk about. The company being powered by cobalt and driven by demand, and really that is where the demand is coming from. It's from the adoption of electric vehicles and such globally, not just here in North America, but in China, in India, and elsewhere. So
people hear an awful lot about lithium, of course, because there's so much in the batteries.
Yes.
But people don't necessarily understand how vitally important cobalt is to the whole process. Enlighten us.
Totally. So you're right. I mean, lithium, for instance, is about 2% of a battery in terms of weight. Cobalt makes up about 7% of that. So really, cobalt, it flies under the radar, and unfortunately so. And it's only been in the last 2 years that people have realized the importance of cobalt to the battery space.
So what is so important about cobalt within a lithium battery?
Yeah, and there's a lot of talk right now about substitution and removing cobalt, and even people like Elon Musk with Tesla, sitting in a Tesla right now, and they're saying we're trying to eliminate cobalt from the battery. It's not going to happen anytime soon. Cobalt is so crucial to the thermal stability of the battery packs. Groups like Volkswagen, who they're talking about putting billions of dollars into the battery and the electric vehicle space and removing all internal combustion engines from their fleets. They don't want to have another Dieselgate or another thermal gate, as like I like to talk about it, and cobalt is critical to that role.
Well, they don't want batteries exploding and burning up on them either, because without cobalt, is that not the big risk that we run?
One of the biggest risks is because of that, for sure. Is that thermal stability and keeping the charge and the ability for the longevity of those batteries.
So let's talk about where you're getting your cobalt. What properties do you have under development, or at what stages are they at?
Yeah, and I think that's important is the supply, and I think everybody understands that there's going to be a demand for cobalt and batteries as we move forward and as this adoption happens. But where does that supply come from? Right now, 98% of it is a byproduct from copper and nickel production. 65% of it's coming from the DRC, which is a very challenged jurisdiction to not only mine in, but politically and infrastructure speaking. So we looked at this differently, and we went to top tier mining jurisdictions in the world. We have a project, the Millennium Cobalt Project in Australia, in Queensland, Australia. We have the Werner Lake Cobalt Mine in Ontario, and today we actually announced the option for an 85% interest in 2 high-grade cobalt projects in Lovelock, Nevada, 150 kilometers away from the Gigafactory from Tesla.
So what stage of development are you at those properties?
So earlier stage exploration on the Nevada assets. The Warner Lake project is a past historic cobalt mine, but it's
you know there's a resource.
So we
there.
know there's something there.
Yeah.
It's being advanced through a partnership with a group called Marquee Resources out of Australia. They're putting $2.5 million into it. Global Energy gets a carry, and the Millennium Cobalt asset. We're just completing a 100% acquisition in that. We've completed a drill program. We'll be updating the resource on that in the next couple of weeks.
So it's still at the exploratory stage.
It's still exploration, but there's a lot of upside to that exploration. We'll be looking at doing a secondary program now that we've confirmed. We've been able to not only confirm the historics, did a metallurgical, and be able to show that there's some opportunity on the concentrate level, and we now understand that there's other targets that we want to be able to hit moving forward, and we think we can make that resource much larger.
So what does the worldwide supply of cobalt look like? And based on that, how do you feel that you're going to be able to move into a market that's going to provide great opportunity, particularly for investors?
Right. So cobalt's still a niche market. It's about 120,000 tons per annum, but we think there's an opportunity for us to inject ourselves into this and offer a secure and stable supply of cobalt moving forward in good jurisdictions.
And the price these days versus the cost of production, where are we at?
Yeah, prices have come down in cobalt, but historically, I mean, we had a huge ramp up in the spike in the cobalt price into 2018. It's come down a little bit. I think a lot of that is because of the trade issues and such with China, U.S. So there's some macro environment circumstances that are in play. But with our projects, they're primary cobalt, so really it's driven on the economics of the cobalt price. And historically, cobalt's never been higher. So
where do you think the sweet spot for cobalt is? Is it 2020, 2022, and how is that in relationship to your timeline?
Yeah, the sweet spot for cobalt is right now. Right now is the time to be investing into cobalt and understanding this market and understanding the criticality of that metal to the battery space. In addition to that, the fundamentals are just strengthening as the world adopts the understanding of what this is, an electric vehicle.
Pretty excited about this, aren't you?
I am excited, for sure.
Well, we'll be watching. Thanks for this.
Thanks very much, Stu.
Okay.
Really good seeing you.
Nice to see you too.